This is Joshy Blogs. Welcome back to some more Fall Guy. Uh, Gary, I'm playing more Fall Guy. Oh God, YouTube video. Fall Guy on PS5 is loading screens, which is a little weird. Considering everything is on Fall Guy, I guess it's not that weird. I think the fact that Stumble Guys is in a lot of ways more entertaining than Fall Guys, it's like indication that gameplay often wins over entertaining gameplay often wins over quality. Fall Guys has greater quality, but Stumble Guys gets you to your entertainment faster, and then often I find Stumble Guys more entertaining. Stumble Guys is faster paced, smaller levels. Fall Guy levels are already pretty small. I think it's not all, they're not always smaller. Just generally, they feel smaller.
How do you respond to that? I'm assuming you didn't use the word.
So you're 38 seconds in, you're already live. Again, I think that Anik Kasparian did a pretty piss poor job in their exchange about Israel, unfortunately, even if he was right and he was wrong. But he did not concede at any point in that discussion or exchange that he would rather live in Tel Aviv. As Marcus implied, she eventually had to admit, I eventually did admit that I'd rather live in Tel Aviv than
So we got squads,
in the Middle East or something like
we got
that,
ranked
or any
knockout,
city, in the Middle East. So he's already fucking lying. I don't think that Anik
and we
Kasparian
got
did
the
a
other
good
one.
job. You don't have to lie about what you said in order to make that point, Bill. It's crazy.
So I got emote 3 times, and
she didn't. So finally, she had to give in and say, "Yes, I would live in Tel Aviv."
I got emote 3 times and be in the air for 75 seconds.
And if you just heard that, Bill Maher said yes, he would debate Jake. Essentially, she said you debate him, and he says yes, I would, because I want to hear him answer that question. And again, the different.
Okay, I gotta okay. I want emo 3 times. I want to play any level in squads, classic. No, I don't. Okay, so emo 3 times and be in the air for 75 seconds. No problem. I'm gonna do that of course, Europe. Yeah, we're gonna be in Europe. I'm gonna play, what do you call it? We're gonna play Fear Spotlight. Yeah.
Jake Huger on the night and it went on Bill Maher. They went live on CYT and they talked about this. And Jake actually did give a pretty good answer to that question. He named off a bunch of fucking cities that were totally safe, not only for him, but for women to live in as well, where they wouldn't be persecuted. Places like Istanbul in Turkey, a country that Jake obviously knows something about. But yeah, there's a lot of places in the Middle East that would be totally safe that are fucking Tel Aviv. It's totally ridiculous. And again, Bill Maher seems to be open to the debate. Little does he know that Jake has already answered that question, and will probably fucking bulldoze him if he gets a chance to answer it to Bill's face.
100%. And another place we brought up, and I wish Daniel would have had
Okay, this is good. This is keeping me in the air for 75 seconds usually.
Right? How far is Lebanon from Israel? Right? Not far at all. It's maybe alcohol if you want to. right? I've watched many
Doesn't matter if I respawn.
episodes. It feels like where he goes to Beirut, it's absolutely hammered and like, exists in luxury and talks about how it's a tragedy that there's some bombing that's going off right at the end. And that bombing is being done by fucking Israel, right? So right there across the border, it's not even far. You can easily get around and wear whatever the hell you want.
So just like the main thing is to get in there and get points for being there.
I guess before we watch the rest of this clip, Zach, do you think Bill Maher is fronting, or do you think we really have a genuine Bill Maher debate coming down the pipeline to look forward to? If actually something that's going to get set up, or will Bill Maher chicken out at the last minute, only saying this to appear tough to be over?
I think whenever there's a hot chick in the room, and not that this lady is a hot chick, but a young woman, I would say, I think you always have to imagine that there's like 75% front from Bill Maher. I think he's capping like a motherfucker, so I think he's, peacocking a little bit here. He'll debate anybody, I'll take them all on. Will he actually go through and say that I'm putting like a 25% chance we actually see Jake
Am I supposed to break these things?
Justice activists, these people do. And your number one issue.
Oh, I see. I'm supposed to knock things in.
You're a joke. You're a joke. It's so obvious where the biggest amount of oppression is. These people who hate oppression so much.
Same thing to say. Insane thing to say. Father. It's an insane thing to say while the children are literally starving. That the most important oppression to hear about is gender oppression. All you do in America is talk shit on that kind of thing. And children and mothers and grown men as well, starving to death, being bombed to smithereens in hospitals, going through the most unimaginable pain and trauma. But the greatest oppression is, gender dynamics throughout the Middle East. Are you crazy? I support gender equality globally, but I also understand a triage when I see one. Starring atrocity that needs to end now is obviously what's happening in Palestine.
Oh, great. And they showed, because they have pictures of the they showed these women in the full cover. So, front page of the New York Times was about Syria. They needed their 1 year anniversary or something.
Oh, I thought I got points for falling off, but I didn't. I got points for the. I probably got points for the. Oh, box. Yeah, I got points for the box going in.
There's the women, and they were in the full, not even the ice. The full black fumigation.
There you go.
And again, it's like,
This is fun. I like this game.
it was the Middle East under Islamic regime. Obviously, we criticize all sorts of institutional religions here. We live in America. We've been impacted by seeing a lot of the ways that Christianity has been used to justify global bigotry. Obviously, in the Middle East, it's the same thing with Islam. But again, you don't have to only acknowledge that in the context of the defending fucking Israel. Authoritarian regime. Which is the middle of the colonialist expansionist project, right? Which endangers basically all of their neighbors at once. So, yeah, it's like, do I have to sit here and reflexively defend the way women are treated in certain Muslim countries? No. I think that's silly. I do think some women are taking a little bit.
Anyway, knocking these off, I'll cause them to respawn, and I'll be able to respawn as fast as I can them onto the. Oh, is that where they respawn?
Yeah, I think it's fair to do that with any of them, including Islam, including Judaism. Look what Judaism is doing, right? So that's fair to say, but it's pretty telling that people like Bill Maher only do that come to the context of defending Islam.
You're okay with keeping women in DC districts, including in 100-degree weather. And this is something that
You keep pursues.
on the races. First of all, Islam is not a race. It's an idea. It's an ideology that all races follow. It's just more fundamentalist than other religions in this century. That would have been the case in the 14th century. But we don't live now. And
Oh yeah, I need to emo 3 times.
the fact that
Ow.
Muslims in America, the way you live here, you couldn't live that way.
It's so to call Islam fundamentalist and also in that same breath, the very next breath after defend the Zionist project.
I need to be in the air 75 seconds.
Not only is it a neo-colonial project, it's also insane.
I did it.
Insane, right?
This is it. I just stay here. Oh no. Yes, stay here. And I can be in the air 75 seconds.
We was led by God, right? Everybody made fun of it when it was the Somali meme, right? Oh, we were promised this land in Minnesota because it's hysterical, right? The fact that that would actually be used as a political argument. But to sit there and be the guy who's like, I'm an atheist, but the Holy Land belongs to the Jews and it's the Muslims who are fundamental. Islam isn't a race. Yeah, go and listen to anybody talk in fucking Tel Aviv. They'll call all Arabs and they're fuck. Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. As I said, Judaism is being used to justify the atrocities of the war events. That doesn't mean it's real Judaism. In the same way that we all obviously recognize that, yeah, ideology is used to advance something horrible. Now, that's not an accurate reflection of the values of Judaism. In the same way, yeah, a lot of horrible governments use the religion that they want to justify whatever practice they want. But we can acknowledge that that's not really the values that inform most Muslim communities or the values that they try and uphold. So it's really ridiculous. And again, Bill Maher only brings this up in the context of defending Israel. You know, last thing I would say the most direct comparative to the Zionist government of Israel would be something like the fucking Taliban in Afghanistan. Like, if you really think about the religion, if you compared it to that, if Bill Maher would be radically opposed to the Taliban, and yet he's just a fervent supporter of Netanyahu and the far right Zionist.
Most of these countries, and certainly the white this is one of the biggest issues people who hate aggression. You're Jewish, so, you want to debate? Sure. Debate is I'm for it. Like I said at the end.
Also, to act like progressive or the left only care about Israel is a total fucking lie. What did Zach and I and a bunch of other colleagues of ours spent the last 6 months talking about Saudi Arabia and chastising people like Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle for going to Saudi Arabia, taking their blood money, and participating in their propaganda. Talk about it ad nauseum. Talk about the way that Qatar is just buying off the president, the obvious corruption that exists between our government and those Gulf state Islamic countries. It's not just fucking Israel. You're just a goddamn propagandist and a Zionist through and through. And you can't see anything any other way. But no, the left actually has a pretty, well-rounded critique of a lot of different authoritarian countries that watch regime. You just can't bring yourself to admit that Israel is also one of them that is worthy of criticism.
But I'm bored.
Yeah.
At some point, we've been around this mulberry bush, and I'm kind of bored. And you have your story and your story. I thought she did not look. I think you already talked about. She was so reasonable.
Yeah.
She sort of came over to where I think is the center left, where I think I am. And on this one, she just wanted to fight. I feel like it's a projected thing for that generation. It's like they have to be these useful idiots who somehow, again, as the world's big liberals, found their way to this decision of marching with the post-Brexit with the world. I mean, it's hard to wrap your tongue around.
At no point in that interview did Candace Berry defeat the boss. At no point was marching alongside, the architects of fill in the blank with whatever authoritarian Islamic regime Bill Maher is picturing right now. All she was saying was that was funding the slaughter of the innocent.
This is an awesome level. I love it. This is like one of my favorite levels. I think hopefully I got this 75 shards here or whatever. There we go. I did it.
Society and whatever scary words Bill Maher is thinking about right now. They just happen to fucking live here.
I don't think I was able to see my growth there. I don't think I'm at 6 crown shards.
Again, is what Anna's position was.
It just didn't show me my shards go up.
rah rah, I love Hamas, and then also to make it a generational thing. She says, oh, people of that generation, you know, they're looking for a fight or whatever. Well, again, Annika Spearman didn't really bring the fight. And she basically completely failed to aggressively challenge you in the way that she should have. But Jake Huger, who's actually closer to Bill Maher's age, he's probably like, what, 5 or 10 years younger than Bill Maher, he's actually way more aggressive and far more hungry for a real.
She might be 20 years younger than him.
No, I'm saying Jake.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's even more ready for a fight, and he's a lot closer to Bill Maher's age. It's not some generational thing. I know lots of people that are young that are fucking.
Okay, I need to not get eliminated. I have 3 minutes.
The issue is basically overtaking their entire.
I need to jump down, I think. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, we're on the shot list. Don't get eliminated for 3 minutes. Okay, I see. Chocolate's flying at us.
Right, look at the Janet Punks phenomenon right now. Who do you guys think are listening to that podcast? Who do you think's listening to that? It's those exact women.
Am I supposed to try to get up there?
But younger people. And
Oh crap!
also
Okay, go.
like, hey man, I've been radicalized by this. I want the Democratic Party to change on this, and I'm going to raise my voice about this. Great point. I guess that was the end. Well, either way, I'm talking about the free press. Hold on. That lady fulfilling her duty of throwing her generation under the bus. I guess that's what it takes to get employed.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Yes, okay, we're good.
Like fucking craziness. But yeah, I think it's always really important to point out that it's not just college kids that
Found a
care
spot.
about this issue, and it's actually really offensive to kind of pin it as if it's a generational issue, right? I think about people, and I think about people who have
They did it.
every single day talking about how terrible this
I'm gonna win.
Ryan Grimm. You know, these are people again out there.
No!
Right? And all people are
He was probably killing everybody.
I'm opposed to this.
I tried though. That was pretty fun though.
Completely against this. The Democratic Party. It
I liked it.
doesn't represent me if this is where it's
Okay, I should have looked around more. Maybe I would have found a weapon and survived.
Leave anybody out. Obviously, we're talking about.
I took the coward's way out and I paid for it.
Obviously, a tremendous voice, and as I've taken and been on one issue.
Yeah, and again, it's not even just like commentators; other people that professionally talk about world.
That's the problem with like trying to do strategic play when you don't actually understand the level. After 10 seconds, the platform started moving. Next time I'll look around more. Lesson learned.
Consuming social media. So even if you do think that like, oh, people will
Survive and be the best night. Okay. Sounds fun.
It's like, well, guess what?
It's explosive nights.
TikTok, boomer-ass motherfucker. But also, it's also not propaganda, which is brainwashing people into caring about a literal fucking genocide they're watching unfold in real time. Like most people grew up actually, you know, internalizing the concept of never again. This idea that like, yeah, this Holocaust thing that happened is something, you know, that will never, a mistake will never, right?
All right, I won that one, I guess.
And yeah, understandably, now that we're all watching it fucking happen again, or that we did watch it happen again.
So it seems like I got my bonus points already.
I understand why people are angry about the mass slaughter and ethnic cleansing of an entire country.
Thank card will be there, sir. What is this level?
Amazing. It throws away the premise of the entire franchise. It has turning bland characters that nobody cares about. And it has a bunch of talented actors who try to deliver lines like, we should allow our magnificent, glorious dinosaurs to be taken. This movie feels like it was written by a little kid. The bad guys catch a velociraptor. and putting it onto a truck, the back half of which is like a cage for dinosaurs. Oh my god, it would be such a good playset. And I looked it up, and it is a playset. You can buy it at Walmart. Oh, spoilers, by the way. For the portion of the movie where the main characters are on the island with the volcano, there is just lava pouring everywhere. But it's little kid rules lava. Like the floor is lava rules lava, where you can get really close to it or even touch it and like not really be affected. Like if it touches you, instead of melting your flesh, you just kind of go touch. Like shake your hand off to get the lava off of it. It's the same as putting your hand on a hot stove. Well, I learned my lesson. Not gonna put my hand in hot lava again. There's one scene which I feel really illustrates the quality of the entire film. And it's the scene where Claire and her comic relief sidekick are in this research facility. And there's like a little ping on the radar that says there's a big creature coming toward them. The sidekick is like, oh my god, is that a T-Rex? And I was immediately like, it would be really funny if it was, because it's not that big of a tunnel. Like, I can't imagine a T-Rex crouching like it's a child in a Chuck E. Cheese play area. Like, I don't know if it could do that, or what would compel it to, but the dinosaur arrives down the tunnel, and it is a dinosaur that I had to look up. It's called a Baryonyx. And the Baryonyx is 9 feet tall and 30 feet long, and it basically just looks like a smaller T-Rex. And it starts coming forward to eat Claire and her sidekick, but then the ceiling cracks open, and it starts pouring hot lava in like a waterfall, bisecting the roof. So Claire is now separated from the Baryonyx by falling lava. I'm not going to get into the science.
I need
how
this
that
data
would
card.
work, where part
Oh!
that
That was beautiful video there. That's a beautiful shot.
Embedded in a hillside, where I guess that would protect it. That's not even the part I have a problem with. The Baryonyx,
So I came from there, right?
Seeing like
Yep.
a hot glowing thing and being afraid of it like most animals, maybe retreating and trying to get out of the building. Instead it walks
Why? I'm a king.
Space
No!
Space into hot lava. Maybe
I'm royalty.
extinct the lava just pours directly
Oh,
on
baby.
its big face. And Baryonyx is kind of recoils like a punch.
Hey, for me.
Face. Like it's boiling water, just like
This is why people are hating me, because I'm like, I look like a royalty guy.
1 second.
I think people might hate me because of my kingliness.
Our heroes escape, but they make
They're jealous of me.
which is enclosed by a narrow, human-sized tube. And I feel like you already know where this is going. So they get up in the tube and you're like, okay, they're safe. Like, even if this dinosaur were able to fit up that tube, it would not be capable of climbing a ladder. But then it does just that. It climbs all the way up the ladder with its little dinosaur.
I just got 3
arms.
crowns, I
And,
think.
like, you're never shown
I think that's it. I think that's all I'm gonna get.
because I think they realized that that would look stupid. But the characters climb all the way out of the maintenance pouch, and
So I
then
think
the
what I got
dinosaur
was like
behind
an
them
extra
snapping.
120
Anyway,
crowns or something like that.
Because like halfway through the movie, the island is melted.
That's
by
from my
lava,
crown shard
and then all the
multiplier
characters
from
lose, and
my
owned by Mr.
my
Lockwood,
bonus.
who's like an eccentric, wealthy man who I guess was a business partner of Hammond. He's basically Hammond. Mr. Lockwood is usually bedridden, so his whole operation is run by a guy who started out as an idealistic young man who was excited about new technology and the future, and is now like a bad guy driven by greed and money. And he's named Eli Mills, which is really subtle. Anyway, Mr. Lockwood is oblivious to Eli's whole evil plan. And I want to talk about the evil plan because, oh my god, the bad guy's plan in Jurassic World 2 is like the funniest thing in the world to me. So
Oh, you get eliminated in this round. Oh! I got eliminated. That's on my growth there. I don't think.
Inside the housing market in that town. Well, can you tell me? Hold on for 1 second.
Matchmaking for me.
Can you tell me?
Oh. Okay. Navigate the obstacles and reach the finish line.
No.
There's so much going on in this level. It's like really cool. I like this sliding stuff. This is really cool.
No, for sure. I seem to be dodging the point, and I seem to push in. It kind of to show up there, big money interests that come in and buy up all the people with their life, buy a home. Big money, you say? Interesting. Okay. This ain't the call. Thank you. I know so many people that really basic jobs on that kind of recreation stuff like ski slopes and lodges and that sort of stuff. Often you have to really like.
Well, that's the end.
This is largely seems to me a story of wealth inequality.
He went from 4 to 16 just now because it didn't record the 2 points that I got earlier.
I'm sure that there are regulations that make it difficult for people to build, and those are no doubt weaponized by people with lawyers and have the money to weaponize them.
Yeah, once I get to another crown, I'm probably going to stop.
All you're doing is taking a tool off the table, not the will to stop those things if they want to. And if it involves like local legislation or whatnot, like there is no there is no sort of broad-based movement that can be built around pinpointing which regulations are inhibiting things. And, we've got a bunch of emails.
Pipes, Explorer.
With Ezra. And, Currently he's done some reporting on this. The real issue I had with the book was less about the specifics of what was inhibiting California, building costs in San Francisco, but rather as they refer to it. It was the Derek agenda, but also one that they see as being an internecine fight amongst Democrats. As if one is to come out ahead, rather than this being sort of like a small bore set of fixes.
I don't understand.
And also as something that you can run as a political agenda. I mean, people are putting hundreds of millions of dollars behind supposedly the abundance agenda. And outside of some narrow housing fixes in blue states, it's unclear to me what it is exactly that, what exactly is this political message. But listen, we got emails from people who work
I need to jump onto the fist.
train debacle in California. And the original sin, pointed me to this, where is it?
What's the complete interest behind killing that?
Well, certainly, but the original sin was the idea of how ambitious it was.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
It had to stop through
Now.
a dozen other small cities. actually the first company that was brought in that did the high-speed rail in France to do this stuff. And now, it's possible.
I'll take blue. You take yellow. Go! Help!
Cities that you build this train. It's possible that so you got to go through these.
No problem.
Interested these cities. The only way that we're going to sign off on this and give the political power for this to get built was if we go through
did it.
other cities. It became almost impossible to do. You cannot get from here to there in 6 hours.
The reason I failed was because blue. You're supposed to go yellow.
The physical limitations on the train. And you have
Run! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
backfill this stuff. But the problem is, because we have so
There we
much
go.
infrastructure like this in this country,
Let's try blue again.
a project like this ends up getting larded up and becomes top heavy in terms of what its agenda is. And downstream from that is maybe as you are trying to hit these multiple cities, we run into more regulations and more veto points as well. But the original guy was
There we go.
the original sin was
We're good.
ambitious to have multiple stops on this rather than make it high speed from one location to another.
And it's also, I think, look, I don't know the specifics of that case, but
Uh-oh.
I think there's also just a difference in terms of what we even think the problem is. Like, I think the left-wing viewpoint is that housing is overly commodified, which empowers gouging, which is what we're seeing now. Rent has never been higher. Yeah, there is a supply-side problem too, but
That is contributed to by the people who own that because they're not wanting to see a whole bunch of affordable
I see.
in cities,
Oh.
vacancy tax. Yeah.
The question is, ultimately depends for them, is like what inhibits on the supply side? What inhibits the government from doing? And the story that Ezra has is that it is regulation that either environmental regulation or things like
I did it.
the government side you have to use your renewables or you have to
Now you just jump on an axe. It's no problem.
People also said that this stuff in San Francisco, Houston, apparently a lot of buildings back before Hurricane Harvey
We're friends.
Now they have tightened up those regulations since then, although those houses are still there. They don't know whether it's in a 100-year flood zone or a flood zone. Apparently they're still figuring that out. But
This is an awesome level.
I would imagine in each situation, there are different things that contributed to.
I'm almost glad that I failed that so that I can do it again.
If you go upstream from that, you realize there's a structural problem that inhibits the supply side.
Oh my god. And again, I think the problem is I didn't build up sufficient speed because I hit that wall.
I suppose it can be fine on a micro level, but the macro message,
So close.
ostensibly, it's supposed to was presented.
So close!
Plus, at this stage, behind local movements in San Francisco and New York to, roll back their own legislation, they're putting behind a broader movement and a messaging campaign that they want the Democrats to win. And I don't think you can win that way as a political matter. And if you can't win that way as a political matter, then you end up with Donald Trump or the Republicans who also are even far worse than the environmentalists and the
I made it.
I am not convinced that an emphasis on supply like
That was
this,
awesome.
if it's being well funded. I trust what you're saying on that front. I mean, of course, developers are going to love this kind of thing when you make housing into a purely supply side problem, and you say regulations are the issue, so you can continue, so you can build more. Some of that is part of the problem. But zoning reform and things like that, like Zoran Mamdani's campaign includes that in his overall housing vision, but he also has a rent freeze. And the tenant protections, the decommodification that is essential to actually systemically change housing forever, so it's not just a method of speculation and passive income for a lot of people, that seems to be missing. And when you get from the overarching analysis, or at the very least the emphasis, and then you compare it with the money that's behind it and the market inflation, it's only natural and acceptable because we've seen this story time and time again. And that doesn't mean that I think like Ezra's what he had to say was offensive or anything like that. I just think it's really the wrong emphasis and the wrong time to be making this kind of case.
This is Benjamin Schneider, who's got the Substack. It tells us for 2008 high-speed.
Give me that. I need that. Whoa.
No more than 2 hours and 40 minutes. The project, however, promised to serve the downtown of every major, not so major city in between, including Merced, Madera, Fresno, Bakersfield, San Joaquin Valley, High Desert City of Palmdale. Those travel time promises
Here.
combined with that meant that the California high-speed rail that can reach speeds of 220 miles per hour. In 2008, only a couple trains in the world reached that speed. And it's still one of the fastest that any high-speed trains currently travel. And then you have topography. You set yourself up for the
Oh, no.
projects ever attempted. And this is a country that was the cut to stability. I'll also say,
Again? Gotta not miss that jump.
and then once the California deviated from its initial route map, that SNCF
The dash is throwing me.
French National Railroad.
All I have to do is walk. I don't need to actually jump.
There are other ways to approach this, but it is clearly a function.
There we go. The dash is what threw me off.
And those incumbent interests, broadly speaking, are either Democrat or Republican very often. Influenced by big money.
This is very fun.
As well.
I love being like a super speed.
I mean, that's why we're like so far forward on concepts. I mean, let's be real here. We know that like solar, wind, etc.
I like it.
Central wind farm, you can't. It's not like oil and gallons. It's not this like fixed. It's not this like commodity that you have to constantly get more of. Once you set up the infrastructure, there's less profit that you can make from it. That's part of the problem. That's part of the reason that we haven't greened our economy is because of that profit incentive. And the one thing I didn't love that he did throughout the interview that I thought was disingenuous was the conflation of degrowthers with left-wing visions for for environmentalism and for a more sustainable economy. It felt to me like another way to do neoliberalism, or like old tricks by the Democrats, where he also brought up, he'd say the degrowthers are sounding like Donald Trump. That's what he said at one point, with the 2 dolls and the 5 pencils. Like you have to make a sacrifice. He was trying to imply that this was like a horseshoe theory thing. And the center where he's at is the more reasonable approach. And I found that strawmanning of the left-wing arguments about housing and environmentalism to be a bit telling. It's difficult for him to attack, or for the abundance people to attack the reality, which is what I just said. Like a left-wing campaign right now in New York City also incorporates zone reform, which is what they say they're in favor of. With all the other stuff, they're either de-emphasizing it or saying it's not the primary problem.
Well, also the anti-sunrise movement for some thing about somebody reporting on solar. The sunrise movement was also very publicly telling to Joe Biden to declare a climate emergency. So
Whoa. But that's too scary.
So, Student Sunrise Group in Amherst, Mass. That spoke in front of they spoke in front of a town hall.
No!
It's possible that this
No!
is the deciding factor.
Oh, you can go this way.
It's possible. I mean, why else would you bring it up if it wasn't the determining factor? I don't ultimate and apparently too, it wasn't so straightforward in terms of
This is way easier.
other locations to look this.
Way easier.
Look why we're actually not solving climate crisis, and I appreciate that that's one of the sort of things that every single motivated by us to do, but this up to us, it's the price is wrong. That's what
There we go.
But he also has a story about why capitalism won't save the planet. And the problem is what I'm pointing to is that like the whole point is to get energy cheap by using electricity, like solar.
Complete.
So that's why we run up against barriers the last 4 years where it looked like we were making money and all of a sudden there's something happens and all of a sudden they can't get back. Calling from a 308 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from? 308.
It's very windy. Give me about 5 seconds to get to some shelter.
Kowalski from Nebraska, everybody. Yeah, what's going on? Are you on a tractor? You're out in a rainstorm, or what's going on?
Cornfield. It's currently blowing 45 miles an hour. I'm trying to get some irrigation running.
That's tough.
Is that the wrong time to do it?
Yeah, right? Is that water going everywhere?
Well, am I watering the neighbors? Yes, but then the neighbor that's upwind of me is watering mine. So, yeah.
That's so beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's our way of...
I need 35 points.
That is not what I called. I wanted to discuss a couple
Give me the points.
I guess maybe, I wouldn't call it bullshit to say that's like your...
Alright, I would like to have a look around before I just get all to go standing there for a long time and get all my points.
Believe Matt, you have been talking a lot on Obama's monetary policy with the quantitative easing, right?
Yeah, I mean, generally.
I only get one swing.
Well, you see, that is what Ezra is advocating. Yeah, in a nutshell, like, there's no regulations on it.
This is nice. Nice easy level. I would say that this level's not like genius exactly, but it's, you know, it's, I mean, there's something genius about it. I think they just haven't figured out. I think they should have put less places to get points on it, you know? Like, the stuff that gives you points is actually kind of, takes away from your ability to...
I think you would argue, to be fair, I think you would argue that these crises are so urgent that if that's the price you pay for getting housing, more housing, and drawing down the price of housing, then it's worth it. It's just, well, why would it work?
Okay, so the cheapest.
How did I manage to do this before?
It might have been ever. Like the cheapest money you could possibly borrow for investment.
I don't understand how I ever got that.
Interview with them. Guess how many homes were built in the odds? Like the whole decade of the odds. How many millions of homes?
I would say
I'll give you a hint. It's 25 million.
25 million. I would say a lot.
Decades. Yeah, the decade prior to that, the 90s, about 25 million. Before that,
How did I ever get out to that?
seems like every decade we built around 25 million homes. 20 to 25.
That's how I do it.
And the cost of capital was the cheapest it had ever been.
I bet that it was a tenth of that.
Less than 6 million.
Wow.
And the decade you bought the most homes. Like the store. Yeah.
I did it.
If you actually look, after the 08 financial crisis, a lot of housing construction companies went out of
All right. So once I beat the next level and see that my points are going up normally, I'm gonna quit.
Places in the United States where the housing market started picking up.
So I don't want to be doing this forever. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun for a while. Then you get kind of bored, and then you're like, okay, I had enough.
Institutions that could keep borrowing money, and thus it created more economic dynamism and attracted people.
Worcester also missed the entire run-up of the value of real estate, and basically Boston got so big that Worcester ended up being they couldn't grow, so they built to the west. But Worcester was up there.
Yeah, a lot of mid-sized towns. If you have a university or like hospitals or something like
Okay.
that, you have cash.
That was fun. I like how short it was.
So you'd have people who can borrow money. But that's kind of the issue.
I think it said my crown rank went up, but I'm not sure.
The three states that had a lot of housing built was Arizona, Texas, and Florida. Why were these the three locations? Because people like to retire where it's warm. The people who had the most money financially after the crash were people on the verge of retirement, but they did not sell their homes in the Midwest or in the Northeast. They kept them. Why? Because they would appreciate value.
Snowball Explorer. Push and whack snowballs into pink score zones to score points.
In fact, we've seen
Okay.
the sharpest drop-off possible with the cheapest capital possible. On top of that, California was another large recipient of opportunities, and put it all
We got it. 15.
What does that sector do? It's just technology. They won't use Airbnb, also reduce the housing supply. That cheap capital also allows groups like BlackRock to purchase the existing housing supply. The Texas, are they building housing?
Good job.
Yeah.
I still got a point for that.
Yeah, but they were one of the largest recipients of capital investment into the fracking industry. Every year, like $100 billion got funneled into the state of Texas. Of course, there's going to be more money around to do housing. Not to mention, because they have all of this money going into the energy sector, the energy's cheaper there, so manufacturing makes more sense. And because they're getting all of this cheap capital, they don't have to have as high as taxes. So the tax rates go down, which attracts more people. So yeah, it was just a feedback loop. In California, their big deal was the tech sector. Those guys weren't spreading any of the money around. I mean, yeah, cheap energy does spread money around to your economy better than anything.
Yay.
It was just like a different dynamic. And to the point of deregulating housing construction, California was already pushing the limits of where they could build housing. Like, there's actually not a lot of land to build there. If you really think about it, a good chunk of the south is desert. You don't want to build there, you don't have water.
Yay.
Completely forget what happened to California in January.
All right, I'm ready to stop. Skip, cancel, quit. Yes. All right, time to do some math. I think it might be like this. It might be strictly multiplicative. So, that doesn't seem quite right, though. I don't think it's multiplicative. Never mind. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's see. So what I have here is a 5 and a 2. So if it was multiplicative, it could be times 10 on one of the rounds. I could get an extra 100. And that's 10 levels. Should have been 100, but it's 200. So it is multiplicative, maybe. Or something. Yeah, so give me an extra 100. Anyway, I'm done. That's all, folks. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Save recent gameplay. Full video.